I'll start with what the legal status is, like what it means to be a refugee, because it's a word that's often thrown around. And in in the public domain in media, when they're saying refugee, they really are actually referring to individuals who have been displaced and people who are seeking refuge, so refuge. And that is not the same as someone who is an internationally recognized refugee, which is refuge with an extra E on the end. So a refugee is technically someone who has the designation of an individual who is a convention refugee. So they're individuals who have been recognized either by the UNHCR or a country to be as a person who needs protection either on a short-term basis or on a long-term basis, because they are fleeing persecution for a convention ground, whether it's race, gender, political opinion, religion. That's not all of them. I can't list them all. I can't remember. I can never remember. It's a short list, but I can never remember. And are not able to return to their country of origin. So that's a refugee. So you can gain that. So individuals gain that designation either when they go to another country, and that country is a signatory to the UN Convention on Refugees. And so in Canada, for example, someone does an inland refugee claim, they're determined to be considered a refugee, and so then that designation is they are a convention refugee. Other options or ways that is done is someone is fleeing civil conflict, ends up in a refugee camp, goes through the UN's version of a refugee determination process, and then those individuals in the camp who then receive the designation from the UN are considered refugees who are then now looking for placement elsewhere.
Okay, so as we film this, there is a war being waged against Ukraine, and the news is talking about refugees from Ukraine. So those wouldn't necessarily be convention refugees, but those are people who are seeking refuge. They've been displaced from their country, but they're not necessarily facing persecution in their homeland. Is that right?
Yeah, so that would be the correct way of recognizing it. And of course, when you're in the middle of a conflict, it is always fluid, right? So that's going to change as the unfortunately, right, as the days and the weeks sort of unfold. Yeah. And we are getting news right now that is probably going to change a lot of people's feelings and views and the definitions around what status these individuals who are fleeing the Ukraine are going to receive.
Yeah.